What was cool in the 2000's but not anymore? On my old Cursor flip phone I had the ringtone version of Final Fantasy V's Victory Fanfare from the Advent Children movie. It's briefly played in the church fight scene. I thought I was so fucking cool. My mom still has one of those ringtones that has a short segment of a song, some country song, and it's jarring because she'll be visiting and I'm driving my car, or we'll be at a restaurant, and then you'll loudly hear, "Cross my heart, I cross my heart, I cross my heart." I had that for a while, but it was such a catchy earworm, I would have auditory hallucinations of it all the time. The shower, driving, almost everywhere. Had to change it to the basic ring ring. I've been nagging her for years to get rid of that, and she gets so many calls because she's the boss at her job and is also the primary caretaker for my grandmother, so when she visits it's constantly going off. And I swear, I nearly wrecked my truck because that freaking ringtone goes off right behind my head. I don't even know what is my ringtone. Remember Nokia 3310 Composer? I used to have spreadsheet on my PC with the notes of most popular ringtones, like Aha, Take On Me, Ghostbusters, Liquido, Narcotic, James Bond. But in all seriousness, anytime my Ohine goes off everyone around me flips out, needing to know what just happened. It's just my ringtone, I say. They glare at me like I'm a monster or a wizard that knows more than I should. I made a decent chunk of change in the time between when ringtones became cool, but before you could actually just purchase a song, knew how to read or write and transcribe music, so would charge people to code in their favorite song. I thought some people still do this, don't they? I'm Gen Z, and even I like to have a cool ringtone, or at least one I find cool. Not a fan of the basic ringtones on a smartphone either. I like to customize. I want a ringtone that sounds like a normal professional kind of ringtone yet isn't one of the default ones, so that I don't grab my phone when I hear someone else's ring. Like a ringtone that sounds like it could be stock, but isn't actually stock. Anyone else? Anybody know where to find such a thing? I mean, and then it was waning. I was more into Fuse at the time too, since it was more hard rock than pop, also more actual music than fluff and reality TV. I was in high school when Jersey Shore took off, and I thought it was hot garbage. Full disclosure, I love it now. Even MTV2 only had Headbangers Ball on in the early morning hours. I don't have cable anymore, so I don't know, but in the past at least 10 years, the only way they could be music television is that they put Thai no-name artists as background music in their reality shows. VH1 on the other hand went backwards back in the day, and just started doing classic artist things, and have Scott Ian of Anthrax talking about some classic rock band. I think they moved that to VH1 Classics, but again, it's been years since I had proper cable. Yeah, it's not cool anymore. I bought an old car for a runaround recently with a CD player, and my kids were confused as hell about what a CD was, and why would I say I was burning it when it is clearly okay afterwards. CD drive, not even a DVD burner. Although IMO having an external optical drive is a good thing to have if you have a computer without an optical drive, if you want to run or install Linux, or run recovery software if your OS fails to boot. IMO MySpace was peak social media. No cancellations, no ads, no influencers, just teenagers, happily coding, picking the perfect profile song, and uploading mirror selfies with peace signs. Well, gay was one of those words that could mean anything. Gay was just a filler word that meant whatever the context called for. I think people forget that. Most people, especially younger people, didn't actually care if you were gay. There is an entire South Park episode about this involving Harley bikes, except they use the F slur that gets you banned on Reddit now. But the entire point of the episode was that the word's definition changed years ago and is no longer offensive. Yes, they did. Filler word, as you put it, glosses over how it was used to effectively denote a negative tone to anything. And when it's easy to be so flippant about using someone's identity as a broad stroke negative, clearly, you weren't someone who felt being openly gay was likely to be regarded negatively because literally everyone around you is using it as an insult. South Park isn't the arbiter of culture either. They may have interpreted it their way, but I don't think many people who lived it felt like it was just a filler word. Tattoos went from a counterculture to mainstream basically. Most companies allow them now, and they are just seen as normal. I'm literally the only person in my friend group that doesn't have one. Even my super sheltered wife has a small one she got with her sister on vacation. I'm not complaining, just think it's crazy that this shift happened so quickly. I feel this with every ring, nothing is niche anymore. Oh, you have this thing you like, guess what, there's a million of people that think it's cool, and do it now, to welcome to the age of the internet. There's still plenty of cool shit and trends that people are participating in. No offense, but most people who think along these lines are never really looking for unique or authentic entertainment. Yea, no more real fashion style, no more exceptional, everyday people, and worst of all, nothing new or deep anymore. Just look what people think is cool on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. Big sunglasses, plucked thin eyebrows, blue eyeshadow, brown mascara, lip gloss on top of lipstick with contrasting liner, bolero coats, cloth belts and wacky patterns, capris, olive green and tan, everything alternatively pink and lime or blue and brown. Skater shoes, hoodies that were half length and sat just below your chest, huge sunglasses, D&G earrings, and a Sui perfume, Gwen Stefani's whole Japanese thing, messenger bags, BlackBerry phones, the Razer and Crazer charity wristbands, ankle socks, toe socks, and iPod Nano clipped onto you, those tank tops with lace bottoms, mole piercings, tiny nighties, Victoria's Secret pink, walking around in Uggs with Starbucks at the mall, little purses, big purses. Frying your hair with flat irons, bath and body work, streaky highlights, bronzer, and miniskirts. I'm convinced that lots of people listen to them as a guilty pleasure. Guilty because others have convinced them that they shouldn't like it, like Waterworld. I'd rather listen to them than Nickelback or Aerosmith, to be honest. Preach it, brother, you never knew what you were getting. Try downloading a Disney classic like Lady and the Tramp. Who knew there could be so many interpretations of that title? Had to use an angle grinder on that hard drive. It's so weird. Anytime I meet someone and we get talking about musical tastes, they'll eventually bring up Coheed and Cambria and get the impression I would really dig it, and I just don't have the heart to tell them I absolutely fucking hate them. I like punk much more than emo, and I did not enjoy that period, because emo and screamo and metalcore completely displaced punk for a while, and people acted like I was lame for still liking it. The Coheed guy Claudius, or whatever, didn't like his voice, and found their lyrics too pretentious. The music style, unfortunately. I wish new metal was popularized again. I'm not a fan of the music from my generation. I'm Gen Z, so that would be mostly hip-hop that has become heavily saturated. LimeWire got so much weird porn and viruses, lol. One time I was downloading music, and as soon as my mom walked in, a photo of a huge black lady naked laying on a shag carpet popped up. She didn't believe me. Ricked out Fast and Furious looking cars with the neon underglow and everything. Personally, think they're cool as fuck, but most people seem to have gone off them, since every car at your typical car meet looks nothing like they did 20 years ago. Going on Facebook to find old elementary, high school, and college friends and reunite. Now going on Facebook to be trolled and stalked by old elementary, high school, college friends. Little copyright nonsense. I made an M and posted it out a few months into the editing. People enjoyed it, however niche it was. Nowadays, you use 10 seconds odd a song and boom, copyright strike. Not to mention the glory of Megaupload. Spiked tips, Levi pipes, chained wallets, Walkman CD players, Tamagotchis, dangling dice from the mirror, skate shoes, low-rise jeans, eyebrow piercings, multiple wrist bracelets, dark eyeliner, straightened emo hair, wrap around shades. The list goes on. The whole womanizer character in TV shows hasn't aged well now. Back then those dudes were looked upon as people you wanted to be. Now, they scream HR nightmares. A bunch of the girls in my class had them, so I asked my mom for one and she said, nah, and dyed a blue streak into my hair. I kept a streak for the next 4 years, and then off and on in college. Might go for it again one day. I look at my kids going through high school now, and the gay kid at school is just another kid. No one really bats an eyelid. Sure as hell they aren't getting beaten up behind the bike shed like the kids I went to school with. My kid has a neurological thing, which means he can't spell first T. and struggles to write legibly. No one really cares. My other kid is dyslexic as fuck and can barely read in year 4. The kids in class who sit next to her will read out the worksheets for her so that she can do her work. Again, big deal, it's just how it goes. The difference between now and the 80s 90s is astounding. Remember when they tried so hard to make phones smaller and smaller? I miss those days. Now, I have to try to cram a tablet in my jeans pocket. I mean, I have a 12 mini and it's perfect. But I can't really upgrade now. There's not a 14 equivalent. Camcorders. You can still buy new Sony ones for like $200 brand new, because they still mass produce them. I love camcorders and a lot of people go, just use your phone, but like my phone has a Shuai camera and a Sony camcorder doesn't, so also have a grip that works as a remote for it too, and you can use it as a webcam. Making fun of Lgit people. Yet media will depict people in the 1920s is treating a same S3X couple as a mundane occurrence, like everything between then and now weren't considered problematic, and people accent trans people in the 70s even though that was considered a mental disorder until the 80s or 90s. It is weird how the media tries to sanitize the past. Here in Canada, the police were raiding bathhouses and nightclubs frequented by gay people all the way into the 1980s. In the 1920s, anyone in an open same-3X relationship would have been risking jail time. The World Health Organization only officially stopped designating transgenderism as a mental disorder in 2019. There are many things that were popular in the 2000s, but are not as popular now. Here are a few examples. Flip phones. These were popular in the 2000s because they were compact and convenient, but now most people use smartphones which offer more features and capabilities. MySpace was a popular social networking site in the 2000s, but it has since been replaced by newer platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Walkmans were portable cassette players that were popular in the 1980s. And 1990 seconds. But they are not as popular now because most people use digital music players or streaming services. CRT TVs. CRT cathode ray tube TVs were the most common type of television in the 2000s, but they have been replaced by newer, more energy-efficient technologies like LCD and LED TVs. AOL Instant Messenger AIM was a popular instant messaging service in the 2000s, but it has since been replaced by newer messaging apps like WhatsApp and Imsage. Being a pick-me, no, seriously. I remember Tumblr used to be full of posts that were like, other girls vs me, and it'd be some cool edgy stuff. We used to all be able to like and save those instead of shaming the author of the post, because all of us could relate. If you were to do that now, people would be at your neck. I do now see how it can be annoying and cringe, especially when you're putting other girls down. Denying up and down that you're anything above middle class. In late high school and college in the 00s, it was absolutely not cool at all to be perceived as rich. Kids who had BMWs and horse stables would insist they were not that well off. Then the recession hit, and now, it's perfectly fine to say, hey, actually yes, I did come from privilege. Denial still happens, but it's not seen as badly. This was my experience anyway. Remember trying to make a friend's boyfriend admit his family was rich in 2005. His family had boats, Audis, a Hummer, multiple properties, a condo in a major city, a house staff, and he always had new brand name clothes. But his family totally wasn't rich, you guys, because his other friend's family has a helicopter and a jet. I was all about pod, even before Alive and Youth of a Nation became crossover hits. Over Christmas, I went back home and found a stack of my old Christian rock CDs. Listened to a couple tracks of Pod and East West and Fan Mail, and oh my goodness me, yikers. Shorts over leggings, bell-bottom jeans with embroidery, wearing your hat backwards, bleached jeans, flat top military-style hats, those poofy hats that look like they came straight from the 70s, camo pink, or otherwise cheetah print vests, jean shorts, over leggings, Ugg boots, bleached hair, colored hair extensions, feather hair extensions, jackets with half sleeves, crop tops, mini skirts, obnoxiously big clairs, earrings, ear cuffs, fake highlights, dark roots, thin eyebrows, colorful eyeshadow, multi-pack of different flavored lip smackers, razors, scooters, light up scooters, Heelys, fake leather bags, super tiny purse, huge stylish backpack, fake leather drawstring, oversized tops, skin-tight tops, multiple belts, not through drawstrings, ringtones, phone charms, jeans with ripped knees, cut-off shorts, rubber bracelets, those thin rubber bracelets that were different shapes when not worn, the Wii, Xbox 360, the iPad 2 slider phones, the DS. Owning a 20-megapixel point-and-click camera. They were so popular in my college years, but now, they just are obsolete tech. It's funny, just watched a replay of a Super Bowl kicking off in 2006, and all these flashes were going off like damn, I haven't seen that in so long. CDs, apparently I'm weird, because I like the sound of CDs more than digital music, unless it's an uncompressed file, in which case it sounds better. They sound better. You have a physical copy of the music so that if you can't pay for a music subscription anymore, you still have music. If you lose your phone, you will still have music, and you can rip them off the disc and put them on your devices, and those files sound better than streaming platform files. My generation doesn't understand how amazing CDs are. I got Sennheiser HD 660 seconds for Christmas this year, and I listened to Mats on CD and noticed so much in the music that it was impossible to hear with my old headphones over Spotify. There's nothing like them. Keep your CDs, people. In Western Australia, the classic cashed-up bogan think redneck situation was the 18-year-old apprentice working on a mine site getting paid a metric shit ton of cash. For an apprentice who goes out after his first pay and buys a V8 Ute pickup. For our American readers, dirt bike, jet ski, trailer for the jet ski and or dirt bike, and clothes, all in matching colors and all on finance, and then has to sell the lot after he discovers that paying 90% of his wages on the loan makes it impossible to actually do anything with his new toys. Prophets, and let's be honest, they were great back in the day. First couple albums were amazing. Literally every new metal chart countdown, until we found out he touched kids. They were always #1. Can't deny I'm still upset or angry about this. Stick-on rhinestones. They could be used individually, often placed on the inside or outside corners of eyes, or there was the full rhinestone tattoo, often in the shape of a butterfly. I love those and secretly wish I could still pull that off. My best friend's hot new shiny Motorola flip phone. I had that little red round matte Virgin mobile phone. You were top-tier money if you had Apple products before they became ubiquitous. Glittery lip gloss. I had a pot of wet and wild gold lip gloss that smelled like butterscotch and was so glittery and not really sticky. I bought holographic lip gloss the other day, and it does not hit the same way. Angry white males 15-25. Now, it's just cringe and concerning to most. And I say, cool. But it was just perceived that everyone thought it was cool, like the emperor's new clothes. We were all too afraid to say it didn't exist. Those baggy pants. In my country we called them skater pants, but it was good for anything but skateboarding. You know, with the ones Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit used to wear. And also Limp Bizkit. Pants that are worn so low on the waist you had to completely shave your pubes off before you could pull it off. I miss this. I'm so sick of these fupa Gen Z mom pants worn high up like Urkel. iPods and MP3 players in general. Everything you need is all in your phone, which is a shame since MP3 players are more unique and have their different shapes and sizes, while phones are just different size slabs. I love my Osiris shoes. They're like 15 years old and have definitely seen better days, but they still get worn almost daily. I miss thick, chunky skater shoes in general. They were great for my wide feet. I always think of that modern-day freak show picture where one of the attractions is a young person without tattoos. Feels like everyone is so cavalier about getting shitty tattoos. If it makes them happy, I suppose. I doubt it really makes them happy. They just don't think much of it and just see it as another form of self-expression without fully acknowledging that even a bad or an imaginative tattoo will remain there indefinitely. Same with piercings. When I first got my nose done, I had to wear clear jewelry at work because the dress code was so strict. I worked in an ICU. It wasn't until probably 2008 that I was allowed to wear a small silver stud and not cover it up. I remember my aunt getting crazy mad at my cousin when she got a small tattoo on her wrist with her best friend. Fast forward 20 years, and she has at least 3 tattoos on her arm now. I know I'll get shit for this, but I find too many tattoos unattractive as hell. Whenever I see someone covered with so many tattoos, my only thought is, oh boy, someone is trying to get a place on peopleofwalmart.com. For every really cool tattoo I've seen, I feel like I've seen 10 or 20 shitty designs or poor ink jobs. I'll never get one, and I'm someone who sometimes gets swept up in moments. It just never appealed to me. That was and still is my jam. Ouchio, everything but the girl, Orbital, Robert Miles, Aquagen, etc. I was also super goth back in the day, so there was a decent amount of Eurodance crossover. For some reason, Blank and Jones Beyond Time started playing in my head by just reading your comment. I have no idea why, because you didn't mention it, and it's probably been 20 years since the last time I heard it.